Hi guys, Dandelion Song, and a viewer told me about the codes in this advertisement for the Bentley Bentyaga from Bentley Motors. And if you look at their logo down here in the lower left, it's a flying disc with a bee in it. Now a bee, as we know, is the pregnant Isis. It's the letter 2 and it's also the letter 13. So I took a look at this, and I'm really thankful for all of your hints and everything. Sometimes I can't get to it, or sometimes I've actually done a decode and then there's just no room to breathe, so I don't put the video up. Like I have a Super Bowl logo video that I did on a cue from a dear viewer, and that's just waiting. It's just waiting for its stage time. So this one I hope will come up, you know, soon, or at or near the time that the other Super Bowl one will come up, because anyway, I like this one because it has a hopeful message in it. Now, you know, not all of these have it has an encoded 923 in it, but it's hopeful. So I can't show you the moving part of it, so I'll put the link in the description box, but I'll show you what I mean. Okay, well, while we're looking at this, we want to think about the viewer and who this message was designed for. This is a luxury car, and so it's probably designed for the elite. However, I think the message is, if it is a message designed for the elite, that means it's a good message for probably commoners too. It's just that commoners won't identify themselves with it. I've counted the feathers on these things before with the ancient Anunnaki symbols. It's different from this, but I'm going to show you. I think this is an 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And this is a 7. Come in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have our 711. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have our 67 and our 76. Spirit of 76. This is the bee, the pregnant Isis. She's the 1. She adds the 1 to the 2. She is the 2. She takes the 1 and adds the 1 to the 2 to make the 3. So she's the summation of all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I want to show you is that this is an 11 and a 7 and a 6. So we have a valence here, of course. And we have, so in the center, this would be, I think we should take the summation number. So if you just, this is how you would write a B summation. So this would be 3. So I think the center is 3. Well, I just want to show you all the 711s here, but because there's this, because we have a trinity of 7s, just I also want to show you that this is the way. I'll draw that there. But since we have a trinity of 7s, I want to point out that this 7 here refers to, I would think, both of the wings. So this is a pi, what they call a pi by 7. So if you've seen the back to the books where I showed you the pi, they have they show that Yahweh, the Tetragrammaton, is written to look a little bit like pi by 7, pi by 7, and this right here, a pi by 7 is 22 divided by 7. It's an approximation of pi. So this would be their way of writing the Tetragrammaton code. It's amazing how many cars do this, and this is a vehicle sign. Now I know that people are going to have trouble with the idea of the car as such an amazing symbol. It's going to draw a little car right here. A car. Now I don't mention this very often, but not only are there symbols in every, you know, like words and numbers, but there are fractal concept symbols. So the concepts that are in your life, like a car or a house or going to work or dreaming, all these concepts, like if you could take the top 10 most influential concepts of your of a human life, you know, it would probably be procreation, the personal journey, those kind of things, you know. So down in the 20s, you'd have cars and dreaming and stuff like that. Well, anyway, a car is a vehicle. And when you drive a car, I'm not going to write that. I'm going to write car. Car equals 22. This equals the ham, and it's the lowest level of the slave. So the reason why we're talking about this is because this whole thing is about a car, the Bentley. This is a parasitized vehicle. When a human is driving this vehicle is frozen. It is a zombie vehicle. It's the lowest level. It's the lowest level of organism. It has no will of its own. It's actually below a horse, because a horse, even if you drive a horse, ride a horse somewhere, the horse is thinking. He's thinking, you know, I don't know, is this the best way to go? Could rub this human off on this tree. The horse is at least present and thinking. A vehicle is completely subservient, and it's 100% parasitized. You happen to be the parasite within. You are the worm in the cup right there. Think about John the Baptist holding the chalice with the serpent in the cup. Okay? So many symbols here. I could talk for an hour on that. Well, in the case of a car, you are the worm in the cup. You are the parasite. Well, okay, so now we're back to fractal. We're back to fractally expanding concepts. So this concept, think of this as an echo that goes, oh, now I'm out of paper. Think of this as an echo that goes bigger. The bigger is going to be to the right. I'm drawing it bigger. And this, oh, I have to move this so you can see it. Hold on. Okay, and then it goes smaller. And we'll have that going to the left. So this is an idea that has a fractal echo. You're going to like this. You're going to like this. And if you apply this to your life, you're going to really decode things powerfully real time in your own story, because your own story is going to show you these things. So the bigger decode of this would be I guess, let's see, so in this fractal, we are the parasites. Let's go smaller first. We're going to go smaller first. So if we go smaller, then we are parasitized. So here's us. And here is the worms that are in your gut. You have never been dewormed in your whole life. You deworm your dogs and your cats, but no one deworms you. You have worms in your gut. Everyone has between 5 to 7 pounds of parasites in your gut. If you take the Clarkia herbs, you watch my video about parasites in you, Lupercalia. I have 2 parasite videos. One of them really goes into the products, and one of them really goes into the concepts. You take those herbs, you are going to, over the next 6 months, you are going to poop out this many pounds of worms. It's really nasty. Well, anyway, this is actually true, and you actually are mentally influenced to a certain degree. People are fully influenced, and some people are partially influenced by the parasites, because the parasites are active in the 4th dimension. This is the car concept. So the parasites are active in the 4th dimension. That is your mental field. So you may have control over your parasites. They may not make you angry. They may not influence your behavior. If they do influence your behavior, what's happening is you're eating junk food, you're sexually promiscuous, you're angry, you're basically like a stick floating in the river. You don't have any oars in the water. You're just bumping up against things and floating down as you go, and you're being eaten up by the parasites within. They're controlling your behavior. If they are not controlling your behavior, but they are within you, you are having anxious thoughts because you're not obeying them, so they're going to create anxiety within you. And it takes a lot of extra energy to steer your boat when somebody else has, got their hand on a rudder, and you don't even know that there is a rudder. So that causes anxiety, depression, fatigue, and illness, because they poop their toxins into you. Anyway, everybody, unless you are taking Clarkia every single day, you are parasitized. And I tell you what, it is worth it to get rid of these guys. I got rid of them. I think I had my final getting rid of them December of 2014. It was a scary last 3 months because they increased my anxiety like exponentially. Not so much depression because I have control over those thought forms, but they increased my anxiety. It was really amazing. But anyway, got rid of all of them, and now I am loving the mental fog went away. As you can tell, my brain is like, it's like cable TV. It's got 100 channels, and the bandwidth is increasing constantly, and I feel like a new person. I can't really, it's hard for me to relate to people who are infected and mind fogged now, because I see them, I love them, but I see them more as like zoo animals. They're trapped. And so anyway, it's like getting on the other side of the fence. You guys are going to love it. You got to do it, but you got to be ready, because they are going to, as soon as you start taking Clarkia and you start doing and food grade diatomaceous earth, once you start doing this, they are going to try to light a fire under you to make you stop. So you're going to have to be stronger than them. This is the parasite. So this is going smaller. Going bigger, I guess the bigger aspect would be that the cars are parasitizing the earth. That would be one of the bigger ones. This is the earth. We'll draw little cars on it. So this echoes out in all directions. Oh my gosh, already at 11, and I haven't even got off the starting mark. Okay, so, well, got good concepts here. We're going to take this 20. Let me draw this out. I'll pause it. So there, you never know what kind of great codes are going to just pop up. And here we have lay, which is a lay line. And we see that we have a double pi right here, because 17 is a pi and 25 is a pi, according to the different spellings, H-I and P-I. And we have lay lines. So those are pi lines. Those are actually pi squared lines. So we need to look at the formulas and understand more about that. I have a bunch of formulas, but they're in my book. So I'm going to think about this. I love it when you're decoding something else and then you find something wonderful like this. All right, so here in the word bent, we have B, which we see in the word blue, and that equals a 7. And then the NT is a 24. That's the day in hours. Over here, so if you take the BEN with just with the 2, it's a 21, which is this is the second part, I'm going to say, of the creation mirror. I'm going to call this the star matrix creation mirror, actually. 73, 37, 73, 12, 21. These are the primes. 73 is the 21st prime, 37 is the 12th prime. So Ben is the 21st prime. Now we know that Benjamin Franklin is, you know, a very high level Mason, and so this word is going to be high level. So what this word is referring to, Ben, is just the completion of a creation, or the final outcome, either referring to Benjamin Franklin as he is completed, or that, you know, he's part of the completion. He's an architect of the completion of the creation. And what they mean of the Freemason creation is the craft. This is where they apply their will. Not saying that it's wrong. Some of them are wrong, though. They apply their will, which is their Kollel rule, their ability to collapse the wave, what they wish to create on Earth. Everybody has the right to create on Earth. That's why we're here. So that's what they're talking, when the craft is about applying their will, the Kollel rule. I have a video on the Kollel rule. Please watch that to understand your ability to create. The only difference between the Freemasons, dark and light, and you is that you have been taught that you have no right to create, and they have been taught that they have every right to create. That's the only difference. And some of them are creating bad things, and some of them are creating good things. And I'm not sure about Ben, because, you know, we only have academics to tell us. Okay, well, anyway, so that's the craft. That's why he's named that. That's the whole idea behind this star matrix creation mirror. And so I'm going to try to find a better lexicon for that. Now, if we take Ben, if we use 13, because this is a 13 right here, this B, if you take it in the 13 direction, it's a 32, which is the upright pentacle. So that kind of makes sense with Ben. Now, if we add BEN plus the T, we have blind. 21 plus 20 is blind. So what this means is the creation, or the creator, or the architect of creation, Ben plus the T. Now the T, Dennis Vetroff with the Illuminatus Observer says the T is a symbol for the fallen angels. So if you, and it's also the cross, this is also the cross behind the eyes, where the two eyes give this is brain anatomy, where the two eyes give information, and it goes to the back of the brain, and it crosses right here. This is called the optic chiasma, makes an 8, and then the pineal gland is right here, and that has to do with Christ symbolism being crucified on the cross between the two thieves. There's the thief, there's the two thieves. That's why they put out the right eye of that train. Anyway, so this T falls down, and it's two angels. This has to do with Noel, because you need to know both of the angels. Know them. I'm gonna go. I know it went off the thing. Let me move this. It's not moving. Oh crap! Oh, sorry. Almost cussed. I thought I wasn't recording. Lately, I've just been like cheerfully talking along, and then I look over and it's not recording. I'm like, oh. Okay. Here we are. Yeah. Know both the L's. Noel. You know, they're telling you, please study this. L is the Lord. It's the word of the Lord. It's the 5. It's the 5 plus the 12. And guess what that is? 17. And they say we don't worship pi, but we do. 17 is pi. 17 is the Q. They do worship pi. And most people on earth worship pi too. They just don't know it, because the pi is holy. And if you are holy, you are fully and well balanced, and you are creating in a balanced way. That's what holy is. All right. Well, if you add the fallen angels, and you see how this is the way, this is the choice of the upright man, and this is like the downward way down here, the L when it falls. So if you add the downward falling way, I'll just draw it here. If you add the downward falling way to the Ben, you end up with blind. And I've seen this number coded on lots of vehicles, actually. In a movie, it'll actually, even in everyday life, the words that they put on the front bumpers of these vehicles, especially if they're trucks or working trucks, they add up, like wide load and those kind of things add up to 20, add up to 41. And usually they have 2 of them on there. So they're telling you that the vehicle is blind in both eyes when they have a wide load on both sides. This was in the movie, the one where you have the Noah, and he's talking about 922. I can't remember the name of the movie now. And anyway, the vehicle comes up to to break the ark, and it has a 41 code on each of its eyes. So that means it's doubly blind. All right, enough about blind now, and we have the ley line. I'll just I just widened the screen so that you can see all the scribbling. On the oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was on. On the 13th second, we see this plane, and we see all this light from heaven, and the plane is yellow, and that is a Christ number. That's a Christ number. No, it's a Christ color. It has to do with gold. Oh, sorry, I just want to point out that the 216 is phi squared. That's a phi squared reference here. So what we could see is that possibly these numbers over here in the time, as the time rolls, will probably reflect, especially, so I have to look at the 18. So they might stand alone, they might add, but we definitely have the beginnings of a phi squared over here. First shot of the winding path here, and these outers add up to 32. So that's the upright pentacle. We had a shot of the spinning wheels and the road. We had a shot of the wheels spinning forward, looking like they were spinning backwards, and the B for Bentley spinning in an opposite direction from the wheels, a visual optical illusion type of thing. And then this is the first shot of the hands on the wheel, and it comes up at 23 seconds. And the steering wheel is a big symbol in a lot of movies, especially like Mad Max and tons of movies. So this has to do with your control, and this 23 is symbolic of the 9/11 and the downward facing pentacle. So here we get our first look at. Actually, there was a shot right before this of the front of the car, and it barely showed the license plate. And then this is a full shot of the license plate from the back of the car. And I can't see the timestamp from here, but I'll tell you what it is. But you can see that this is a 9/23/15, and that's why people are noticing this. Also, this is gold. This is a gold car. We don't always see gold cars. And we've talked a lot about gold. I have some videos about lead to gold and just the decode of the word gold. I might not, I make videos too fast really for me to go through and put all the annotations in to have all the links. And so you can help me out by just Googling my gold decode video, and then you can fully educate yourself on just what the word gold is. And if you look at all the videos, you can understand more of the symbolism behind all of this. As we go forward, let's keep in mind that gold equals AU, which equals 22 when you add the 21 plus the 1, and car equals 22. And just keep in mind that this is a parasitized vehicle. Just think about all of that. And also these are going to be elites that are in here. You know, nothing wrong with them. But what we want to do is look at how they view the story, and look at how they have been trained to know that they are allowed to create and they are allowed to have a good life. This video is about things turning out good and having a good life, and that is the message for the elite, and I think that you can take that message for yourself. Damn it. Oh, okay, I just had a retard moment. You probably just saw me click on this. I was looking at at this button thinking, why did my computer freeze again? And okay, so that was like a total brain fart. Did you see that? I'm like looking at this like, what's going on here? Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, so this is the first shot of the front of the car. You can barely see the license plate. But this is a 9. And this is 8, and then there's a 2 and a 16. So a 9 plus a 16 is a 25, so that's another pi number, that's another holy number. So they're going to keep referring to that. This is a little bit of a phi type. See the shape right here in the headlamp? That's a little bit of a phi, but it's off center. But it is exactly similar to the womb of Isis in Paris, and also some other circles that I have seen that are bisected in this precisely off-center manner. And I have some theories about this, mostly just the ratio between these two sides and the numbers. But this, in Paris, for example, this line that is ominous. It's like an ominous threat, because if you follow the line out, it goes to Montségur, and I would like to actually deeply immerse myself in French history, because I think so much really authentic religious and spiritual struggle went down there, and I'd really like to deeply understand this. But anyway, so this line goes to Montségur, which is where the Cathars were burned in a bonfire, and I talked about that in terms of the heart-shaped symbol in the sky at the sacrifice of the Cathars, and that the heart shape is a Pleiadian symbol. There are good Pleiadians and there are bad Pleiadians, and there's all spectrums of Pleiadians, and there's fallen and unfallen and good and bad Illuminati. Basically, diversity is something you can depend on. And I have referred to this also, this is called entropic diversity. This means, this is the Divergent 7. Things keep diversifying. On every topic they diversify, so we really can't broad brush anything. Well, anyway, so this shape, and this, when you see this, it has, I don't have the full decode on this shape, but it's not an accident that that's there. We could even count these things. And at least in Paris, it's basically a sacrifice of the twins idea. in Disneyland. Now, when I first saw the twins in Disneyland, I thought, what are they going to do? Are they going to like bomb Disneyland? Or are they going to have like, you know, Ebola break out in Disneyland? I couldn't figure out what they were going to do there. But now I have the idea that the whole map of Disneyland, all the people walk in and they do their rides, and it's probably on a perfect ley line. There's some incredible ley line convergences in France. And as the people go across this road that goes across in Disneyland, the people are repeatedly cutting off the heads of the twins. Now, the twins refer to the Venus teachers. And the Venus teachers on our earth, I believe that Yahshua was definitely one of them, and Buddha was one, and I'm a little more open on some other ones, including Viracocha, Lord Pakal, and probably some that were in Celtic tradition that are yet undiscovered. But in all of these teachers, in their own tomb writings and all their artwork, they show that they were born under a bright star, and that has to do with the pole flip of our sun. And it energizes Venus. Venus flips, and Venus becomes bright so that you can see it in the daytime, and that basically creates a magnetic charge on Venus, which may allow one of these great Venus teachers to incarnate with all their memories, because otherwise, if you just incarnate here on a regular day, most people don't have enough chi or energy, or just like, you know, whatever it takes to bring all your memories, all your wisdom with you. So you can't come in as an avatar because you have to go through the forgetting process. But when Venus is doing this, I think it creates a magnetic bridge. This is why they want to kill twins, and this is why they want to kill and sacrifice Isis. And this is why the Catholic Church pretends to worship Mary, but they actually, in their symbolism, it looks like they're doing a lot of things to kill Mary. They also pretend to worship Christ, Yahshua. Meanwhile, they have changed his name to Jesus, and every picture that you see of Yahshua is him on the cross, which is not a powerful way to see him. So you really have to look at the symbolism of what they pretend to do and what they're really doing. Well, anyway, they're here in Disneyland is designed for people to constantly sever the necks of the twins that are there. Those are the male and female Venus teachers. That's just my emerging theory, because we just need to emancipate ourselves from academic contamination and Vatican contamination. And so I am just like trying to take a shower every day and scrub off all the Vatican, you know, brainwashing that I have, and try to really understand what's happening. So that's my theory about Paris. If you'd like to see more, that's really a mind-blowing installation they have over there. Please look up my Isis, Ishtar Marie in Paris videos, and the ones especially of her womb, and these measurements having to do with Montségur. At this 32nd point, this is Bible Eagle, Alice Hale. The car takes away from the camera. It drives away like an eagle. Here at the 33rd second, it's coming towards the camera. This is the Freemason number, but camera itself has a lot of gematria in it. And I'm just going to leave it at there because I don't know, I haven't probably done it, but I want to get on to other points here. So it drives up towards the camera. The moment that you can see the license plate is the I timestamp, 35 equals I. That's not a coincidence. All right, well, it's hard to show, but in the end of that 35th second, the car drove off camera. So there was both a see and a not see idea there, where it drove off camera during the I number. And then it switches to this bird. This is Isis right here. She's a golden bird or golden kite, and it has the Christ number, the Christ color. That's the second time I've done that. And this is a 36. This is a trinity of sixes. But what this really is in this scenario is more of the seed of life. 36 encodes the seed of life, because if you take numbers 1 through 8 and you make 8 little balls and you put them all together in a seed of life formation, they first of all, 1 through 8 sums to 36, not including the 9, but then that 36 digital root is a 9. So the symbolism of the 9 is incredible with vector mathematics. It comes out of nothing. It comes out of the 1 through 8. And this is also the idea of the Ogdoad, because the Ogdoad is the Ankh. It's the first 4 sounds and their opposites. It's the first 4 sounds and their opposites. So that's the 1 through 8. And then out of that, comes the 9. But do you see that? Do you see the leap? The 9 isn't included in the first, in the addition. But then if you look at the vector mathematics of this, if you every axis of that seed of life, if you numbered all those balls, and every axis is going to add to 9, plus all of them add to 9. So 9 is everywhere after that point of the seed of life. Do you see the symbolism? That's the symbolism here in 36. Now, it's, I don't want to ruin the surprise for you about this video, because I kind of like this, but this airplane bird type of thing, this, and it's a seed of life for a reason. So it's the feminine aspect of the seed of life, I guess we could say. Oh, sorry, can't press that button. So whenever we see mirror and sky reflections, that's a moment to stop the clock and take a look and see. We have an 11 right here, and then over here we have a 19. So this is a 911 made with a raw. On this side, actually it's an 18. Sorry. It's an 18, but that reduces to a 9. See that? So this is a 911 right here. But anytime you see a reflection, you want to stop and take a look at it. Now this one is a reflection of the sky, which is even more powerful. But any reflection, really, you want to take a look at it. Now this again underlines that this is a sky goddess, seed of life, Christ type of thing here. And that actually pictures her against the sky. Now her reflection, this is her reflection on the car. So think about that symbolism. So here we have the driver of the car, and he is on the 39 second. This is the opposite of the 36, because it flips up and it flips down, and they just showed you the up and down reflection. So this movie is already telling you that he's not so much the opposite, but the counterpart. Like, I'm not saying that the sky one is good and that he's bad. He's the driver here on Earth. You see what I'm saying? Also, this adds up to a 12, which is the round table. So he's like the chalice. That would be the round outer part, without the phi or the q in there. It's just the round table, just the 12, just the path. It also shows him being I guess they refer to these people who follow the path, they refer to them as Jack. In lots of movies, every Jack and John is one of these guys. He's someone on the path of life. He's someone who's going around the zodiac. And I just want to reiterate that we're not vilifying him. He's just a counterpart. And he's steering the vehicle. He's navigating the turning path here. So he looks up and he sees. At that moment, he looks up through the sky roof. Hey, I want one of those. I want a sky roof. And sees the airplane. And this is the 40. This is the us, US, and the body of Buddha. The BU is just a prefix on Buddha, and the DDHA is the 40. So this 40 is everywhere. It's not just in the US, although it does refer to the US, and this is also the symbolism of the Philadelphia train wreck, because that was on the 40 coordinate spot. Very special, very, very hard to find 40 coordinate spot. I mean, they had to look. Oh, they knew where it was the whole time, but that train wreck isn't going to happen just anywhere. Okay, so here's the beautiful female moment, and it's at the meaning of life. Now, the meaning of life number here is often coded on female journeyers on the path, like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and other. I've seen it again and again. I've decoded tons and tons of things. You know, I actually bring you guys like 10% of what I decode. If I had a crew here, it's just me. I only do this by myself. If I had a crew here and eight computers, we could put out 100 videos a day. Oh, so I forgot to mention with the beautiful lady is that the sun was behind her. So she is adorned by the sun. Got it? All right, well, I pressed the wrong button. I meant to show you the second before this, the 43rd second. And we see the 22 here and the 22 here. I think these are temperature readings of Celsius, although I'm not I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know what these refer to, and I'd have to put them into my graphic program to zoom in on them. But just a second ago, this was a 9. So that was a 922 and a 922. And now in the 44 second, which is our kill second, we have a 9122. But I just want to point out this 44, it equals 22 plus 22. Just want to point that out. All right, so in the 47 second, the view goes back to the air. This is the agent number. Some channels habitually vilify these numbers, and I love and respect these channels. However, I just feel like humans need to get past the spastic vilification of everything. Everything is not bad. Basically, everything has the yin and the yang in it. Everything has everything in it, really. This is why I feel like you could take 2 hours to decode these things, or you could you just look around your room. Look around your room. You take one look, like if you could take a picture with your eyes, you look someplace. If you could take a picture of that and then print it out and study it, the symbolism of what you see has the answer to every question that you want to ask in it. Everything is inside of everything. So we cannot vilify things, because vilifying is a symptom of church, what's the word? Church contamination, church brainwashing, churchiness. Fake niceness is another sample of churchiness. Fake niceness. That's like a symptom of a disease. Vilifying everything is churchiness. Spastically vilifying everything, and vilifying things with anger is spastic churchiness. Now, I love you guys, you churchies. I went to church a lot too. I don't think I was ever a churchy, because even as I sat there as a 6-year-old, I'm like, what the heck are these guys doing? These guys are driving cars? You know, I was 6 when I realized, like, oh my flip, what have I got myself into now? I was like 9 when I realized that I could do a better job than Gerald Ford. I wrote him a letter. He wrote me a nice letter back. But yeah, I was 9 when I realized, oh my gosh, the world is run by maniacs. Okay, well, I didn't actually think that Gerald Ford was a maniac. I wasn't political at that time. I just realized that I was probably smarter than him. And I think I was right. Hold on. So if you are Christian, and if you have gone to church a lot, you are just like me, and you probably have had a lot of second thoughts. Now, I just invite you to release your programming. If you're feeling angry by some of the things that I'm saying here, I invite you to hold your tongue and watch the video. Just realize that I do love you. I don't mean to upset you. I'm just the messenger. I also could be wrong on some of these concepts, because no one's teaching me this. I'm synthesizing my own view after reading a lot of books, all of which have distortion in them. So please don't be angry with me. And also just want to warn you that if you are angry and you leave an angry message, I'll block you. So I just say that gently, because I want to keep my space clean for people who want to learn, and I invite you to use restraint and friendliness in your comments so that you will have a chance to learn. You don't have to agree with me, and if you are an angry Christian, there's really nothing you can say that's going to change my mind, because I feel like I understand that completely and I have compassion for you. All right, here we go, onward. So this is kind of the Freemason number, and it sort of shows the luxury of the inside of this vehicle, and I just stopped it on this shot because it does look a little bit like a bee here, like a honey bee, and that's type of the royal thing. Also kind of looks like a moth. Moths are very, very interesting and should not be vilified with a broad brush, but anyway, this is kind of like a golden bee. So here at the 55 second, we have just the winding road, and we don't have any like heavy, you know, drama music here, which is normally what we have around the 55. I guess the 55 number is different for the elite. Here's another 911 number on the timestamp, and it shows sort of the vehicle comes out from the low winding valley, and now it's on the top path. And the music also reflects the top path, the having arrived at the top, the achievement of the pinnacle, and we have the mountains here to verify that. More spinning wheels. I should probably decode the word wheel. Okay, so in the lyrics of the music, it's really hard to hear because it's kind of like meditational, but right at this point I stopped it at the end of the statement where he says, how do you see beyond the lie? And it's hard to see whether, or hear whether he's saying life, light, or lie. And probably when there is something kind of discrepancy where you can't really tell what it is or what it's saying, that's also intentional. So how can you see beyond the lie was said right here. All right, so the music says, first of all, there's a shot from the top and there's a hairpin turn right here. And then the hairpin turn is paved and this is unpaved. And the music says just one, I think it says just one word to change my mind. And I've done a decode on the word, probably a good background for this. And we have a 111111 timestamp here with a 9 on this side. So just one word to change my mind, and he's making a right-hand turn off the main road in his 923 vehicle that's gold. So he's continuing upward on the path of glory. The music is like higher and higher. Things are getting better and better. That's what the music is instrumentally saying, apart from the words. And the path is lined with flowers, and it's going up. I really want to play you 2 seconds of this, because watch. Here's 1/118 of this. 19, 119. Got it? There's the 911 and then the 9. So this airplane is banking to the right, another right-hand turn. Okay, well, we'll see later all these numbers too, but I just want to take a look at it. So I'm trying to circle in black the 119 here. Okay, I'll switch to white. Just, oh, come on. Hold on. All right, I think I have white now. Nope. Oh, darn it. Okay, well, here we go. Now I have white. 119, and this is 18, which is 9. Okay, so we're going to be able to see this later. I'm going to switch back to the dark. Hold on. All right, so we're going to be able to see this later, but since we have such a nice timestamp, let's do it here. So first of all, I want to show you, okay, so these are the numbers that I wrote out right here. This is both an O and a 0. Now we see New York right here. And this is a 3. This is a 25. I'm going to treat that as a 0 just for right now. Now the 9 plus the 14 is the 23. This is what we saw in the license plate of the car. Over here we have a 28. And this is also New York City, just in case you were wondering, you know, are they talking about the city? I don't know. Okay, they are. Okay, so if this is a 0, it's tempting to take it as a 0 because it's in the center of this word, and we know that the 0 also equals the 9. The 9 is the all and the nothing. So if you take it, first of all, we have the 9 here, so you know I don't have to struggle to pull a 9 out of this. But I just want to show you that it looks like here because this is the seed of life, this airplane, the symbolism, it had the 36 symbolism that I talked about before. This is the seed of life. So we know that they are, so in the core here, I'm just going to draw the seed of life. A little seed of life right here. This is the first 4 that you can see, and then you can barely see the 4 on the back side of this. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the very back. That's the seed of life. And then if you just, all right, so if those were numbered 1 through 8, any axis that you drew through there would be a 9. So it's the 0 and the 9 at the same time. So 0s equal 9. Also, there's a horizon here. I just want to point out their point. She's driving, the pilot is turning right towards the sun. That's a right turn. This is the horizon. I'm going to pause it while I write that out. So the horizon, if you put a circle around the horizon, it's a phi going this way. And the 0, here's the word, see the word 0 right here? 0 goes that way. And this is the 1. That means that. That's the 1. And then H is the infinite loop of time by itself. But if you add it to the O, which is 15, it's a 23 again. Alright, well, just to be complete, if you add the 23 and the 28, that equals a 51, which kind of echoes my idea about the 0 here being the 9, because the other aspect of this 0 is it could be a O, which would be a 1551 mirror, which is the 1. Okay. So I've taken a lot of looks at the number, at the word orange, and we see it encoded a lot, especially in The Simpsons. They always put it with an opposite number. Why do I keep saying number for color? I'm going to write it down. This is another word. I'm not going to do, I don't know. Maybe I'll decode it. I'm not sure. Sorry about my writing. Okay. Well, so I just want to point out that the ANGE, the NGE is a 27, which is a 9. We'll draw a little 9 right here. Then this center is the 15, which is also an O. So I just want to show how that kind of parallels what this code right here, that the orange parallels this code, plus it's written in orange. The OR is the Freemason here. It's the center of the worm. It's the center of the word. It's a lot of things. So sometimes I just take the A as the center here, in which you would have a 9 on this side and a 6 on this side. So I want to show you that this would be a 6. If I just took the A as the center and not the A and together, this would be a 619. Let's draw the 619 up here. And I want to show you how this is very close to a 1618. Just want to show you that. So this could be one meaning of orange. When somebody sees this without the video, they'll be like, what is she talking about? Just because, right? Because I'm just pointing to the color. All right, well, where was I? Oh, let me pause it while I get my brain fired back up here. All right, so then if we take the center as 15, then we have a 13 on this side. I'm going to scratch out this 27. So if the center is 15, right here, we have a 13 on this side and a 33 on this side. And the reason why I think this is worth talking about is because together this is a 46. And this since we're talking about the seed of life type of idea here, bride of Christ type of idea, this is and 23. This is the addition of two 23s. Let's go. I'll just go times 2. So this is the conception, the combination of the two sexual halves, and this is the two sexual halves right here. Okay, and then we add the 15 to it, and that is and that's a 61. Which this number to me means false religion, false idea. So we need to keep that in mind. It's almost like orange is a religion, or orange is a concept that is false. So let's just keep that in mind. So at 23 on the clock, he pulls into a little downward thing, and he's arriving home. He's coming into the homestead. So this is kind of the idea of going home here. So there's a shot of her looking out the window here at the 9-9. I keep forgetting that I can actually draw on this. So we have a 9 and a 9, and then there's a 1. And she's looking out I don't know why it does that. She's looking out a window. Let me erase this. She's looking out a window down on the ground. So this puts her as a lofty being, and we've seen this in the Pope numbers, that when there's a 9-9, oh good, it didn't do it that time. When there's a 9-9, the Pope has a lot of 9-9 numbers, and so I'm not saying that she's pretending to be the Pope. I'm just saying that they're putting lofty numbers on her. 9 is the completion. It's the completion of freedom. So she's symbolizing the completion of freedom right here, and also she's looking benevolently down. So that is kind of, that's the this is sort of the idea of the divine feminine, the divine feminine sky goddess type of idea, and so far they're handling it respectfully. Another 9/11 moment. See the 11s on this side and the 9 on that side, and she was just looking out the window, and there was actually a moment of a smile where she does that, where she likes what she sees, kind of thing. Okay, 9:32, and he's driving in water, but there isn't really a preamble to describe where the water was that he's driving into. And at 1 second later, she's landing on water. So there's a water right here. Kind of like male water, female water. He's in a vehicle that doesn't float, though. I think what he's doing is called fording, where you go through water, you know, on the ground. That's called fording, I believe. So here we are at another 35. This is the seeing. This is the eye, and here we have the union in the frame of these two vehicles, from the sky and the ground. So at the beginning of the creation number, which is the 3773 mirror, so at the beginning he's walking out to greet her. Now people who really think that 9/11 was a sex act are confirmed here, because here we have another 9/11, and this is a 111, 111, and we have this showing here, New York City with a 0. And, oh, I forgot to mention when I was talking about this, that this is pi. That's very important, because this is a circle and then it's right next to pi. That's why that Toyota is spelled that way too. So we have the joining of hands. She's stepping across water, and he's greeting her. And this is the 9/11 moment. This is the union of sexes, really. We're still in the 9/11 moment here. So the hug turns, and then at the 42nd, which is us, we see more of the us. We see the children. Like if you thought of these guys as the gods or whatever, the higher and the lower gods, or you know, just the archetypes, this is us. We are the children of the gods. That's the symbolism of the story here, at least, and they're coming out of the gold vehicle. Okay, two kids are jumping out. They don't waste a chance to show you the 23 right here. The 23 and this in this shot, I guess that would be the 15 or the 6, possibly the 9, because the 6 could be the 9 upside down, right? The 9 right next to the 0 could be a 9 and a 6. All right, it's a little bit worrisome, but there's a 9 on both sides here. See the 9 on both sides. So this is the culmination. This is the 9-9 right next to. They're just hammering this home here. I mean, they don't have to include this, but the other thing that's a little worrisome here is we have a kill number that's in the center of one of the 9s. So almost like maybe they're meeting in paradise after they have crossed over the water. You see what I'm saying? They've crossed over the Jordan. I don't know, some kind of idea like that. Forgot to point out there's a male and a female child, just like in the womb of Isis. At this moment we have another agent moment, and the plane is taking off. Everyone's turning to watch the plane take off into the sky, and this is the it's a 50, which is a double pi, but it also has a way number in it. So here is a 7-9, but it's also here is a 6-6 mirror. So it's a kind of about, see the symmetry here, the children on both sides, all the symmetry, and then we have a symmetrical 6-6 here, which is life in the field, which is actually referring to the 6th dimension. Now, if this was a restoration type of an idea, I've talked a lot about that. The New Agers believe that we're going to be moving to the 5th, but the idea is really that we're going to be restored to the 6th. And the Christians are all angry and vilifying all the 6 numbers, but the 6 is actually the number of the field, and it's before the fall of Atlantis. So in those days, and this is how all these big rocks got moved around. This is how they made things that doesn't make sense, because it was made in the 6th dimension. And yes, it was a lot easier to make things in the 6th dimension. You can make things with your thoughts in the 6th dimension. It's like a dream. But that was, so the whole idea here is we're going to be restored to the 6th dimension. Now, the Christians have all been taught to think that 6 is the lowest number. Well, during the time of Gilgamesh and during the time where all these scriptures are written, in the time of the Anunnaki and the time that these buildings were built, yes, 6 was the lowest number, and the idea was to get out of the dome, which was the 9th level. Well, now we have fallen to the 3rd because of technological disasters done by madmen in Atlantis that ripped open the dimensions, and we fell to the 3rd. So the idea is to restore us to the 6th. So that is the idea here at this intersection. We have, first of all, we have phi squared, and we have our male. Look at the symmetry here. We have female, male, male, female. It's almost like a pyramid. We have the water, but we have 6 going to the right, 6 going to the left. This is the restoration of the 6th dimension. Now, if this really is a true thing, if we really are restored to the 6th dimension, and I do believe that the good Pleiadians, the non-fallen Pleiadians, are here to restore the Earth to the 6th dimension, because they may or may not have had something to do with the reason why we fell from the 6th dimension. So they're here to restore it. I don't care. I don't care if you disagree with me on that. I'm not even attached to that idea. It's just a theory. But what I want to say is human beings are so strong and beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so proud of everyone, even if you are asleep and you're still eating Cheetos and watching the news, and you're still worried about who's going to vote in the election, which is all extremely pretend. And even if you are Christian and you're angry and you're out there pointing your finger, you're holding a Bible under your arm and pointing your finger at other people, which is incredible blindness. Even if that's you, you are still amazingly strong. You're like the hobbits in the Lord of the Rings. You might not be able to see far, and you might appear to be an idiot like the hobbits are, but you actually have incredible deep goodness inside of you, an incredible deep strength, and that's why they have to work so hard to poison and kill you and corrupt you. They're working very hard to poison, kill, and corrupt you. And look around you. When you go to the grocery store, who do you see? Decent people. When you go to the library, who do you see? Decent people. Most people are decent, even if they are homeless and drug addicted. They're still very, very decent. So when we are restored to the 6th, if this does happen, what's going to happen is most people are going to rubber band, like it's going to be like a rubber band snapping, and most people are just going to snap right out of the dome, all the way past the 9th, and even beyond into higher dimensions, because we've paid such heavy dues here, heavy dues, and that makes y'all heroes, so I'm proud of you. All right, so then they go back to showing the car, and the idea of this video is almost as if the car is what brought the family together. The car is the silent hero in all of this. So that's an interesting point. Okay, so in the 200 on the timestamp, and it seems like this is a George Washington number or some kind of like big number like this. I can't remember. It says be extraordinary, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so in the simple, be extraordinary has the God number in it, the 74, the July 4th, and it's kind of a gateway. And if you added the 74 plus the 1, that is a 75, and that's, I'm starting to think that's like a triple pi. Keep wanting to work on 75, I haven't done it yet. Now 17 plus 9 is 28, and that is the day that we are talking about as the finale in this, or at least the prophecy shows that as being the finale, the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles type of idea, the blood moon kind of idea. Now, I invite you to go check out what Crow has to say, Crow 777, about the blood moon, because he has some very interesting things to say, and he's done a lot of filming of the moon, and he has, it's pretty eye-opening. He says that the whole blood moon is completely hokum, in short, but very interesting to go watch his videos. So this is 28, and it pulls it through time. So do you see that this is a pi? From the high or the Q reference derivation that I have referred to many times, and then so this pulls it through time again, where it uses the time element for the decode. That's what I mean to say. So then it adds together to be the 28. So it's the 917 and the 928. This is a flower of life. If you just decode this, it's a 12 too, so it's an 11 and a 12, and if you add it straight across, it's a 68. But let's just go with the flower of life idea right here. Holy family of bride. I don't know. I really don't like looking at those. It seems like people put in, like, I know that they're probably really wanting to know, but it seems like it gets cluttered up with a lot of really comments that are references that are sort of, you know, really far off the path there. What did I want to say? Oh, Song of Solomon, I think, is probably... Song of Solomon is about the love between... I'm trying to make sure I get this right now. Yeah, it's... isn't it Solomon and... Oh gosh, I know this. I studied this. It's Solomon and his love that lives a long ways away. Oh, all right. Sorry. I don't have any more than that. I know I studied that. That folder must be like far back in the office in my office. Yeah, like if my brain was an office, all my people are in there like throwing papers around. Here, give her this file. Give her this file. I always have funny pictures like that when my brain won't like deliver what I need. You guys probably know. I studied this. I have a feeling about this. The other idea of the Song of Solomon has to do with the love between Inanna and Dumumzi. Well, that story I do have on the tip of my tongue. Maybe that's the better story anyway, having to do with this story, because Inanna is the sky goddess. She flies, and Dumumzi is her love. And she's madly in love with him, and he's more of an earthy guy. People are like, what are you doing with him? You know, Anunnaki romance. And he's very down to earth, so it's the sky and the earth type of love. And that's another basis of the Song of Solomon. So be extraordinary. Priory of Sion. Ooh, I did not know that had a 924 in it. Did you? I did not know that. I think we need to look into that. Rainbow serpent. These are the things that are on the bottom sides of those flying domes that I showed you in recent videos. Oh, I thought I saw United States. Nope. So it backs away from the Be Extraordinary, and then it goes dark right here on the 202. This is a 22 gateway. This is a gateway for the commoner, I believe, the lowest level of the slave. But this is also the height of Horus, or Horus Senior, in Washington, D.C. If you haven't seen my videos in Washington, D.C., you really need to go over there and take a look, especially if you are watching this before the Pope comes, because you're just going to be in the know. You're going to know more than 99.9% of everybody else around you. And really, the only people who are going to know more than you are the insiders of all these dragon families and Illuminati. And they know. So it's kind of fun to know. All right, so here at 204, let's go ahead and put this in to the gematria. All right, we'll see how it's a 75. That's so interesting to me. And then this here is a 16. Okay, so let's take another look at 75. Simjaza, Thelemic, North, Ishtar, Friends, Madison, Arrow, Lamb of God. This is why 75 is important. Martin, Esther, Skull. So important, so important. Lord God, Yahshua, that's not the spelling that I use. Andromeda, Eye of Ra, Biblical Pi, Spiral. Spiral was in some of the Pope numbers that we did, and also the numbers of the alien child, the UNICEF ad. Please check that video out. The Big Bang, the child in the UNICEF ad was reading a book about that. So yeah, that's so it's just a highly well-connected number. I believe it's a trinity of pi when it boils down to it. All right, well, I hope you guys like this decode. This is the end of it with just 1 second to go. Make sure there's nothing else here. I wanted to do this because when I watched it, I thought it was a hopeful message, and we see so many disasters having to do with this number, and this might imply a disaster or a crossing of the River Jordan or something like that. However, it has a hopeful ending message, and the message is intended for the elite. So I think we need to take messages that are intended for the elite and bring them to the regular people. All right, love you guys. Talk to you soon.